like you have to warm yourself up, especially on LinkedIn, and not just go for the, asking them out, right? So the whole thing is, what do you do? How do you do it? Here's what we've done. Here's the fear of missing out. Here's how we've helped other people. Hey, let's grab a virtual cup of coffee over Zoom. Don't be so aggressive on like a LinkedIn, but on email, make sure that you're telling them how you're going to help them and not how you're going to sell them.
Welcome to 7 to 8, our special series on 7 to 8 figure entrepreneurs. In this special series, I interview $1 million, some $10 million, and even some $1 million business owners who uncovered their twists and turns in their entrepreneurial adventure in order to help you to avoid the potholes and stick to the fast track. Welcome now to center stage, our next special guest. Hey there, peeps. This is Michelle Nedelec, and I am super glad that you're here with us today because I'm here with my most amazing guest, Michael. Michael, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Hi, Michelle.
Hello. So give everybody the highlight of who you are and what you do for business.
Sure. I basically help with the top of funnel. Most companies spend way too much time trying to hunt. And if you look 20 years ago, SDRs were started at Salesforce. Feed the sellers, make sure that they have deals to close. So I basically created a repeatable and scalable approach to automating email, LinkedIn, and roundtables so that we can produce 20, 30 fully qualified leads, sales qualified leads, marketing qualified leads for companies that are trying to grow fast.
I love it, and we will delve into that momentarily. But before we do, how did you get into leads as your thing?
Well, I've always been the lead guy at a company, but I've been the lead guy selling, lead guy closing deals. I was like Monster Mike at monster.com because I was getting 12 to 15 meetings a week just by smiling and dialing and hustling. But about 5-6 years ago, a lot of automation started like with HubSpot and things like that. But a lot of things were not going the way it should because you were getting bounced emails and reply rates that weren't good. And you're also getting people saying spam. So there's a level of expertise to doing email and LinkedIn and then doing roundtables, which kind of is a thought-provoking roundtable that you talk about what works, what doesn't, that you need to know how to do it and not break domains and not break LinkedIn. So that's kind of where I started, is that I started doing it for a company called TechMate and was their VP of sales. And I had to really get an SDR approach ready. And I'm like, wow, this is a repeatable and scalable way of doing this. So I branched out of that and basically started my company and made it over $1 million in a year.
Nice. I love it. So let's explain SDR for those who don't know.
Sales development reps, BDRs, business development reps, inside salespeople. Those are all basically the same people, mostly kids out of college, first job, second job, a lot of hand holding, a lot of money on Zoom, a lot of money on infrastructure and tech stack. And guess what? You're not getting that many meetings because they don't know what they're doing yet, unfortunately.
Nice. So a lot of entrepreneurs think that, or founders company, however you want to put it, think that if they hire competent salespeople, that they'll just go and get their own leads. They don't have to do anything about it. Talk to me about that.
Well, that's not a good way of going. I always looked at as an SDR as icing on the cake when I was at a company because I didn't always have that. But as I got older and older and go, wait, I should be focusing on selling, not hunting, closing, not trying to email people. So it's really a big thing that you need to have the right people doing the right job. And if you look at the SDR approach, it's really a stepping stone. So if you hire a bunch of kids to do it, you're going to have turnover. They don't like it for more than 6 to 12 months, and they want to be an AE. So if you find a repeatable and scalable way using bots and automation to basically set up the discovery call, which is more strategic and thought-provoking, that's what your SDR should be doing, is finding out exactly what this deal is about, make sure they have the right people on the phone, and they have the right decisions and ideas and answers based on what the pain is. Be a solver, like a challenger sales approach. Don't just sell about what you do and why you do it.
Awesome. So you have a very different approach to getting leads, garnering leads than a lot of people that I've seen. So talk to me about your process.
Yes, it's basically understanding that there's A/B and there's analytics and there's that whole, AI approach, like what works, what doesn't. Don't keep on doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting something to change. But understand that everybody has content. Everybody think one is pretty and one's not. That's just life. That's just, someone might think someone's attractive, someone might think it's not. It's a lot like dating as well. It's like you have to warm yourself up, especially on LinkedIn, and not just go for asking them out, right? So the whole thing is, what do you do? How do you do it? Here's what we've done. Here's the fear of missing out. Here's how we've helped other people. Hey, let's grab a virtual cup of coffee over Zoom. Don't be so aggressive on like a LinkedIn, but on email, make sure that you're telling them how you're going to help them and not how you're going to sell them. And giving them an option to book you or asking them for their calendar. Because most salespeople will say, here's my calendar, book me. Well, most people are getting tired of filling out someone's calendar. So I always make it about, hey, let's chat, but let's not go 5 days of going back and forth. This Friday, this Thursday work, it's 1 o'clock, it's 2 o'clock. I could just slice my wrist on that one.
Right. I do remember the last time that happened, and it was rather recently, and I was like, seriously?
Yeah.
Prior to this call, our conversation, I have not actually told people Monday or Wednesday. It's just, here's my link, go do it, or give me yours. We're all good.
I did yours. It was great. Yeah. And you've been part of my roundtables as well. And you see how that roundtable could actually help their clients and their prospects talk about their problems. Guess what? It's brought to you by that company. So there's a bunch of different ways to kind of get people through the door, just like a mutual fund. Have a diversified approach to get leads. That's not the end all be all. You have pay per click, SEO, branding, all LinkedIn ads, all that stuff. But there should be a one-to-one approach of who you really want to talk to.
Nice. So is there an ideal kind of client that you work with that you serve and support right now?
A lot of them are startups. I like them because they're trying to grow, helping them with their email and LinkedIn. I think the medium to larger size companies might have their email figured out, or they think they do. And I don't think they do most of the time because it's mostly marketing newsletters and white papers, more of a marketing approach. But with the larger companies, I think I could fit into their LinkedIn automation approach because none of them are doing LinkedIn the right way, or they're just doing Sales Navigator. So I think that the bigger deals for me are going after mid to larger companies for LinkedIn probably only, or doing roundtables. But there's too much sales versus marketing in those types of companies. In the startups, I'm basically like their demand gen expert. They're leaning on me. I have an email engineer that sets up the DKIM, the DMARC, the SPF records, the MX records. Those are all the DNS records that go along with doing a separate subdomain, so we don't burn a domain when we're sending out 20 to 30,000 emails a month, if you need that many.
Right. And if you don't know what all those acronyms meant, go and book an appointment with Michael. I'll go and explain to you what all those things were. Because basically it's the back end of a website and a domain and setting those up. So when you're working with people, is there a best way? Well, first off, explain what a roundtable is for those who don't know what your definition of it is. And then we'll go into kind of how's the best way to set it up and to wrap your head around what it is that that you're going to create.
So a roundtable is different than a webinar or seminar or someone talking about you or you're talking about yourself. A roundtable is more like, let's get 15 marketing leaders, business leaders that you want to sell to and have them talk to each other. What do you do? Why are you here for this roundtable? What do you want to learn? Who are you? Where are you located? What's your superpower? And what would you like to kind of get out of today? You got 60 seconds to 90 seconds to talk about that. Let's all ask questions of ourselves. If we have more than 15 to 20 people, we break out in rooms. So it's a whole idea of just give back to your industry and to your persona-based approach by sponsoring something that's more of a networking thing. And people remember that you're the guy that set it up, or you're the girl that set it up, and this is what you do. So it gets leads for my company and for the companies I do it for, because it's more of a give back versus an ask.
Nice. So is there a kind of right way to set them up, a wrong way? Are we just gathering people together? Is there some sort of format that you tend to use?
I use email, LinkedIn, and on top of every email, LinkedIn, I say, hey, there's a roundtable every Wednesday. By the way, I do lead gen, so I'm giving them to get on just my sales emails now. I use LinkedIn to host the advertisement of it, to promote it. I use Zoom to host the video part of it, and that's also on the LinkedIn. And then I use LinkedIn a lot to invite people. There is a way to scrape groups and events that are similar to what you're trying to do for either connections, in-mails for free, or drive them to a roundtable. So I use scraping approaches and automation to drive people to those events. I mean, I had 8 people this last one, and I had 45 people a couple months ago. So it just matters who they are, really, about the quantity. Because for me, I really want people, in this area that are in tech most of the time, or professional services.
Nice. So what's one of the things that somebody can do to figure out who they want in their group, as opposed to just kind of sending it out to everybody? If they want to hone in on their audience, how do they start to look at that?
Well, there's filtering. I use a product that's like Zoom Info for email. So we just make sure that the messaging for sales is the same messaging for, or filtering is for the roundtable. We want to get those people that might not respond to an email, but might come to a roundtable, and vice versa. So just having the filtering right for your ICP, your ideal customer profile, and your personas, knowing your total addressable market, which is called TAM, and just being able to give them something why they should even be interested in reading your email or LinkedIn.
Nice. So can you give us an example of a Cinderella story, or of an example of when this has worked really well for you?
Well, the company I was just talking about, TechMate, that I started doing this at, I think we were at $250,000 when I came aboard, and within a year and a half got to 2.8 million. We raised the Series A. They were a seed round company. By me doing it from starting there and learning how to do it right and wrong, because I was using HubSpot at first, which is not the best way of doing it. HubSpot's good for nurturing, not for cold. And basically growing my company to almost $1 million in a year and a half. So there's a lot of success stories. I helped a company get in the Qualcomm for $200,000. I helped another company open a door with Guess, Home Depot, Best Buy, Target. I mean, a lot of it's smaller companies trying to get into bigger companies or mid-sized companies. I really think the larger to mid-sized companies also need to figure out what they're doing, because they're just throwing stuff at the wall a lot and doing like a demand gen approach. And this is not really about demand gen as much as I want to get a meeting for my salespeople so they can understand what the problem is. Be prescriptive, really be a student of the challenger approach, because the challenger approach teaches people there is a $5 million problem that I could solve for $50,000. And if you could show someone that you're more interested in helping them versus selling them, you're going to have a friend and a client for life.
So what are the problems or challenges that you've seen some people have when they've tried either taken the approach and done it without your supervision, or, when they just kind of go, hey, I'm going to try this LinkedIn thing, and they really don't know how
LinkedIn profile shut down because they're doing too much, or they're only able to do 100 invites a week. That's really, or they're spending $10 an hour for virtual assistants, in Philippines or some other country. It's still at $10 an hour times 8 hours a day. That's still way more than I would charge to do what a bot can do versus a person. I can do it 50,000 times faster. They ruin their domain most of the time. They hook up Gmail or Office 365 to like an outreach or to HubSpot, and their domain starts getting buggy. Gmail or Office 365 will shut down their inbox. I've had that happen to me when I was at TechMate when I first started doing this. So I already know what not to do. Just like, because I'm a black belt in jiu-jitsu, it's like you get tapped, you get choked out, you get pinned down. Whatever happens, you learn what to do next time. In sales, it's the same thing. Lose and you learn. If you're not learning from your mistakes, then you're not growing.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, basically when you have a ton of email going out, nobody's opening those emails, or they're deleting them, or they're complaining about them, it burns your domain, and that's not good. So when you're setting up a new
bounces really hurt.
Yep.
Describes really hurt. Images
and
too many links, which is
and hidden fraudulent addresses really hurt too. So sometimes companies will put out fake email addresses and put them on lists, and then if you email to those lists, they know that you're buying a burnt list, and they shut you down really quickly. So there's a ton of ways that the Google gods and others are trying to cut down on hackers, doing a very bad job of it, I might add, but they're trying. So kudos to that. So how do you warm up a cold domain?
There's products, and there's a product inside of my database that does sequencing that has a warm up engine.
Nice.
And then we don't send out 200 emails the first day. We send out
Or
50,
2,000 or
then
20,000.
yeah, I mean, I'm up to like 2,000 emails per inbox,
Nice. Yep.
but that's after 30, 40 days. So I'm
Nice.
sending out, for me, 6,000, 7,000 a week. My clients probably more 4,000 to 5,000 a week. So you don't do it the first month. You don't do that on LinkedIn the first month. I've sent out 600 emails and invites a day on LinkedIn a day, but I've pared it back because I don't want to chance LinkedIn changing what their policies are or figuring out that, you shouldn't be doing this because they don't want automation on their platform. So there is a lot of automation platforms that work with LinkedIn, but that's not really what LinkedIn likes. But
Right.
you're going to do it because you got
And
to
that's
get
not really
done.
what people like. So
Oh,
I always say that the purpose of automation is to have the same conversation over and over again that you would have normally had, just have it at
yeah.
a faster pace.
Just don't
So
spam.
when you're working with your bots, how do you set up those conversations so that they seem natural and inviting to people and not spammy?
So it's the invite should not be let's connect. No, it's hey, I just want to connect.
This long.
Yeah.
It
Secondly
takes them an hour
is
to read.
thanks for connecting. Thanks for accepting my invite. Not thanks for accepting my invite. By the way, I do blah 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 blah. Okay.
Mm.
That's too much. Think of it as dating. Slow your roll, pal. You know? So with the third one, you say, hey, I just want to say hi. We just connected. Want to grab a virtual cup of coffee because I basically work with companies in your industry about helping them reduce time on their top of funnel. Maybe you're not even a fit. I don't know. I just wanted to say hi and see if there's some time. Here's my calendar, or can I have yours? That's talk. Write like you talk. Don't write like a robot or professional. That's not what people respond to. It's not like let's just have our grammar perfect. No, you need to do that. You could also respond once they connect personally. You don't have to, like, if they respond back, my email and LinkedIn shut down the automation. So they say, hey, Michael, glad to connect. Well, that completely shuts down my automation.
Right.
So then I go, okay, well, let's look at their background. Oh, they went to U of I, University of Illinois. I'm going to go Illini, whatever, or they're from Chicago, go Dub Bears,
I love it.
Yeah.
One of the things I recommend people do if they've never set up a bot before and they have no clue how to do this is to just actually have a test conversation with Otter or somebody eavesdropping and just have a real conversation with them and then look at the text to see how you've actually interacted and what's really going on when you go back and forth. Just start with something that's natural.
Yeah. Don't use Bard and ChatGPT verbatim. That's a good place to start. And then if you're a service business like me, talk about yourself. I've worked with the NFL. I'm a veteran. I'm a black belt. I have closed over $1 million within 3 months. And it's like, that's what I do. So you're hiring me. But if you're a company that sells software, tell them how you help another company in their industry. Don't talk about your solutions and features and buttons. I used to be so against people telling me stop selling the products and features. I'm like, what are you talking about? That's what we do. I'm such a stupid kid. But now it's like, it's not about you. It's about them. First thing I do when I do a sales call, like, so Michelle, you booked me and I appreciate that. And I sent you an email, but what grabbed your attention? What brought you to the table today? And then I'll be quiet because that's one of the best questions. Okay, can I ask you for your advice, Michelle? Or what was the other one? Can you help me? I don't know if you were on that call that I did when Dan came on. He gave me some good examples of questions, but there's a couple of things that you can always be learning, like how to talk to people better. So that's what I'm learning every day.
Love it. Well, and it's not just for gatekeepers anymore. So you can learn a lot about how to actually have a conversation, and it helps not only in this arena, but to transform your entire conversation, whether you choose to go door knocking or cold calling or going through gatekeepers, whatever it is. I find that being able to connect with you and being able to have these conversations, it becomes prolific as to how somebody converses with people and it's not just about this particular
Yeah,
conversation.
and use like an Otter, or I use Fireflies. Record your calls, your video. It bullet points what's going on in the call, tells you positives and negatives. And if you're writing down notes in the call, which I used to do, or type them, I'm not listening then. I'm trying to make sense of what I'm writing, and then I'm not listening. So I was just go back to the video and go, okay, what did I say? What do I owe them? And then I've been using Google Drive to put down, like, here's all the copy that we use. Here's all the bullet points that we're talking about. Here's the to-dos, and here is the leads. So have like a central depot to keep all the information for your clients in one spot, or you use a platform. I don't know if Monday.com and none of these other ones do that. HubSpot I use too, but I don't think HubSpot's good for that because not everybody has HubSpot, or not everybody wants to sign up for HubSpot. So a lot of people can get into Google Drive or some shared drive on Microsoft.
And that conversation helps immensely then as well. Once you do get into the sales call and the appointment and say, hey, back then, this was important to you. Did we check off those items? Yeah. And it really does impress people that you've been keeping track of what's going on, what's important for them. So I appreciate that too. Nice. So what do you think some of the stumbling blocks that somebody might be having in their business right now that they're not getting? Where's the frustrations that they're thinking, oh my God, Michael, I need you so badly in my business?
They're spending too much money on like a Zoom info, 50 cents to $1 per name. They're hiring kids that are that they have to spend a lot of time handholding and teaching. So that's the frustration part, and they're might be getting a couple of leads a month. They hired an outsourced SDR company that promised them A, and they gave them very little, or someone's making calls for them all day and they don't sound like they know their business. So those are bad first impressions. So those are a lot of things that I hear about, or they don't have time to kind of focus in on the top of funnel and also sell and also run a company. And too many people want to do that. Or they say, we go to trade shows and we kind of do it the old fashioned way. Well, hey, I want people to understand that this is a way of doing business, not convince them that bots and AI are the way to do things. I want someone that understands it already. I don't want to convince you that, like go after advertisers. Advertisers advertise. So fish where people fish. That's why I use the LinkedIn approach of, hey, you're in a group for AI. You're probably seeking more information. So why not hit them up? They're going to an AI event in person. Why not scrape the attendee list or exhibitor list? Why not scrape the attendee list of an event on LinkedIn? There are people that seeking information, and I can basically say, I just want VPs of marketing. That's a pretty good list.
Right? I love it.
Yeah.
So I know people our listeners are going to want more from you. How did they start their journey with you?
Well, just go to Throttle That's pretty much of a mouthful, but you can also give me a call up at 512-639-3375. But on my website is my Calendly availability, all the stuff that I do. And there's also the white paper and the deck as well on there. So you can definitely reach out to me pretty easily. I'm pretty visible in public.
Thanks. We will, of course, have all of Michael's links in the show notes. So go ahead and scroll down, click on the links, open up in a new browser, of course, because we're not done yet. So, Michael, at what point in life did you know that you were a special kind of crazy enough to think that you could become an entrepreneur?
Well, I've been doing a lot of this my whole life, but not at this level. I've just been kind of that sales guy that's been kind of the bull in the china cabinet, which is good, but I've honed my skills in. And, about 20 years ago, I had a window washing business when I was out of college and I was switching gears. I'm like, wow, I made 35 grand in the summer. I just didn't want to wash windows. So that wasn't a really good fit. But I'm like, I know I have the entrepreneurship to get this done. So it took a while, but I didn't really know what I could do as a sales guy that I could be my own entrepreneurship type of approach without building software. So this approach let me use software best of breed that's repeatable and scalable. And I do processes that are repeatable and scalable so that I'm not, hey, I got 4 clients and that's all I can handle because I'm doing all this custom work. No, it's find something you can do and use a repeatable and scalable approach so that you can add 15, 20, 30 clients. That's what can make you successful. I don't need to grow like too fast and have so much stress that I'm not enjoying my life. I just want to make a good living, which I am, and have fun and win.
Love it. You've been absolutely awesome. Any last words for our peeps?
No, just would love to help with you. Any if you have friends or people that are looking for leads and top of funnel, I also do referrals and so forth. So I like to find win-wins. Crawl, walk, run, pay you for your help. Help people even set up their own LinkedIn automation if they need me to help them, if they're friends and stuff. I'll it's all about paying it forward. So please keep in touch with me.
Thank you so much
All
for
right.
your time. I appreciate it, and I know how valuable it is.
Thanks, Michelle. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome. Peeps, this is Michelle Nedelec. Thank you for being here with us today. Be sure to subscribe to the show, share it with your friends. We love helping entrepreneurs grow. Thank you for listening to 7 to 8. If you're interested in upping your speaking game, be sure to connect with our guests with the links in the show notes and connect with me to see how we can help you get your tech done for you and help your speaking dreams come true.